Shalom and welcome, brothers in the faith. You are now tuned into Standing Watch over Yashar'el, a counter-strategy guide for men under surveillance. This is not just a teaching, it's spiritual intel for the women. Each week, we expose one of the 27 espionage tactics used by the enemy to infiltrate, deceive, and neutralize the set-apart men of Yahuwah. In this war, your discernment must be sharp, your steps ordered, and your alliances holy. We're not here to react. We're here to respond with wisdom, truth, and spirit-led strategy. So grab your sword, the word of Yahuwah, and let's move with purpose. Your vigilance is your weapon. Your obedience is your shield. Let's stand watch together.
SunTzu Strategy 14. Hence it is that with whom none in the whole army are more intimate relations to be maintained than with spies. None should be more liberally rewarded. In no other business should greater secrecy be preserved. Interpretation through a modern lens, citizen spies context. This strategy emphasizes that spies are the most valued and closely connected members of a governing or military system. They are to be treated with intimacy, rewarded generously, and protected with extreme secrecy. Sun Tzu is making it clear. Spies are not expendable. They are elite tools of control. In today's world, this principle manifests across multiple domains. Government and intelligence agencies. Modern intelligence services operate vast networks of informants, assets, and double agents. These individuals often receive substantial financial compensation, legal protection, and sometimes even new identities through witness protection programs. The CIA, FBI, and other agencies maintain extensive budgets specifically for cultivating and protecting their human intelligence sources. Corporate espionage. In the business world, companies frequently employ industrial spies or pay competitors' employees for confidential information. These corporate spies can earn multiples of their regular salary through selling trade secrets, with some receiving ongoing payments that far exceed their legitimate wages. Tech companies, pharmaceutical corporations, and manufacturing firms are particularly targeted. Religious institutions. Throughout history, religious organizations have used informants to monitor dissent, report on theological deviations, and maintain control over their congregations. The Catholic Church's historical use of informants during the Inquisition, various Protestant denominations' surveillance of members, and modern cult organizations all demonstrate this pattern of rewarding those who betray trust within the community. Digital age surveillance. The modern surveillance state has created new categories of citizen spies through programs like the NSA's PRISM, where tech companies become unwilling or willing informants on their users. Social media platforms, telecommunications companies, and data brokers essentially function as massive intelligence-gathering operations, rewarded through government contracts and regulatory favoritism. Law enforcement informants. The widespread use of confidential informants in policing creates a system where criminals are rewarded for betraying their associates. These individuals often receive reduced sentences, cash payments, or continued protection for their cooperation, sometimes continuing their criminal activities while serving as paid informants. Political operatives, campaign staff, government employees, and political appointees frequently serve as informants for opposition parties, media outlets, or foreign governments. The Steele dossier, Watergate scandal, and numerous political leaks demonstrate how those closest to power are often the most valuable sources of intelligence and the most richly rewarded for their betrayal. In many cases, those closest to power in government, corporations, or churches are spies, earning wealth and favor by betraying their own. They are strategically placed where no one would suspect them and rewarded for loyalty to the system, not to truth. For men of Yashar'el, this explains why betrayers and sellouts are often elevated in religious or political settings. They serve Pharaoh well. It also shows why righteous men are persecuted, while wicked men are promoted. They've made themselves valuable to the enemy's agenda. Historical precedents in espionage. The Cambridge Five. Perhaps the most notorious spy ring in modern history, these British elites, Kim Philby, Donald Maclean, Guy Burgess, Anthony Blunt, and John Cairncross, were recruited by Soviet intelligence while studying at Cambridge University. They rose to the highest levels of British intelligence and government, with Philby actually becoming head of MI6's anti-Soviet section while working for the USSR. Their intimate access to state secrets and protection by the establishment exemplifies SunTzu's principle. Aldrich Ames, a CIA counterintelligence officer who spied for the Soviet Union and Russia from 1985 to 1994, despite obvious signs of wealth inconsistent with his salary, including a $540,000 house paid for in cash. He was protected by the very secrecy SunTzu advocates. His betrayal led to the execution of at least 10 CIA assets and the compromise of over 100 operations. Robert Hansen, an FBI agent who spied for Soviet and Russian intelligence services from 1979 to 2001. He operated undetected for over 2 decades, compromising numerous human sources and technical operations. His case demonstrates how those entrusted with the highest security clearances can become the most damaging spies when properly rewarded and protected. The Rosenbergs. Julius and Ethel Rosenberg's spy ring provided Soviet intelligence with classified information about American nuclear weapons. Their network included scientists, engineers, and government employees, all rewarded for betraying atomic secrets. The case illustrates how ideological motivation combined with material rewards creates powerful espionage networks. Spiritual threat to Yashar'el. This is the enemy's counterfeit of Yahuwah's reward system. Instead of honoring faith, purity, and obedience, the system honors betrayal, deception, and manipulation. This creates a false standard of success, tempting the weak in faith to sell out for reward. The spiritual implications run deeper than mere material gain. When societies reward betrayal over loyalty, deception over truth, and manipulation over integrity, they create an inverted moral universe where conscience becomes a liability. Those who maintain moral integrity find themselves at a systematic disadvantage. The honest employee is passed over for promotion while the corporate spy rises. The faithful pastor is marginalized while the denominational politician thrives. This inversion teaches that conscience is expensive and integrity is foolish. Trust becomes weaponized. The spy system destroys the fundamental basis of the human community, trust. When anyone might be an informant, when intimate relationships can be exploited for intelligence, when family members might betray each other for reward, the very fabric of society becomes toxic. Truth becomes subjective. In the spy's world, truth is whatever serves the paymaster's interests. This moral relativism spreads throughout society, corrupting not just intelligence operations but education, media, religion, and politics. When lying is systematically rewarded, honesty becomes revolutionary. Identity becomes fluid. The successful spy must be whoever their target needs them to be. This requirement for constant shape-shifting destroys authentic identity and replaces it with a series of masks. This spiritual fragmentation extends beyond individual spies to corrupt entire communities that learn to value performance over authenticity. Psalm 73, 3-5-12. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. They are not in trouble as other men, behold. These are the ungodly who prosper in the world. Proverbs 17:23. A wicked man taketh a gift out of the bosom to pervert the ways of judgment. The true danger. Spies are rewarded for lies while men of truth are scorned. This can cause disillusionment in the righteous. Psychological warfare aspects. The spy system operates as a form of psychological warfare that extends beyond mere intelligence gathering. Demoralization. When righteous people see the wicked prosper through betrayal, it creates existential despair. The psalmist's struggle in Psalm 73 resonates across generations. Why serve God when the faithless thrive? Corruption by example. The visibility of rewarded spies creates temptation. When people see betrayal consistently rewarded, some will conclude that integrity is naive and choose to imitate the successful deceivers. Paralysis through suspicion. The knowledge that spies might be anywhere creates a paralysis of trust. Communities cannot organize effectively when members suspect each other of being informants. Moral inversion. Perhaps most devastatingly, the spy system teaches that evil is smart and good is stupid. This inversion of traditional moral categories corrupts not just actions, but the very capacity for moral reasoning. Biblical parallel. Judas Iscariot, Matthew 26:14-16, went to the chief priests asking, "What will you give me?" Was intimately involved with the Messiah, but sold him for silver. Was protected until his betrayal was complete. The Judas parallel reveals several crucial insights. Intimate access enables devastating betrayal. Judas wasn't an outsider attacking Jesus. He was one of the 12, entrusted with the group's finances, present for the Last Supper, and close enough to betray with a kiss. The most dangerous spies are those with intimate access. Financial motivation remains primary. 30 pieces of silver represented significant wealth, enough to purchase a field, Acts 1:18. The financial reward for betrayal often seems disproportionate because the spy's access makes their betrayal uniquely valuable. Protection through integration. Judas operated undetected among the disciples, with Jesus even knowing his intentions, yet allowing the betrayal to unfold. This divine permission doesn't negate the principle that spies are protected until their purpose is served. The kiss as ultimate symbol. The intimacy of betrayal, using a gesture of love, the kiss, to identify the victim, demonstrates how spies weaponize trust itself. False prophets in Israel, Jeremiah 5:30-31. The prophets prophesy falsely, and my people love to have it so. The false prophet phenomenon extends the spy principle into religious deception. Religious spies use spiritual language. False prophets don't announce themselves as deceivers. They speak in God's name while serving other agendas. Their spiritual language provides cover for their betrayal. Popular approval enables deception. My people love to have it so reveals how audiences often prefer comfortable lies to challenging truths. The spy's success depends not just on their own skill, but on the target's willingness to be deceived. Systematic religious espionage. False prophets operate as a network, reinforcing each other's messages and creating an echo chamber that drowns out authentic voices. King Ahab's prophets, 1 Kings 22. Over 400 false prophets were favored and promoted. The one true prophet, Micaiah, was hated, isolated, and imprisoned. This narrative provides the clearest biblical illustration of SunTzu's principle, applied spiritually. Institutional preference for falsehood. Ahab's court preferred 400 false prophets to one true one. The institutional bias toward deception creates systematic rewards for spies and informants. Isolation of truth tellers. Micaiah's imprisonment demonstrates how spy systems must suppress authentic voices. Truth becomes dangerous to the deceptive order and must be contained. The cost of integrity. Micaiah suffered for speaking truth, while the false prophets prospered through telling the king what he wanted to hear. This pattern repeats throughout history. Those who serve power are rewarded, while those who serve truth are punished. Collective deception's power. The 400 prophets created a false consensus that made Micaiah's individual truth appear not just wrong but treasonous. Spy networks use collective reinforcement to isolate and discredit truth-tellers. Additional biblical examples. Dog the Edomite, 1 Samuel 21:22, a servant of Saul who betrayed David's location to the priests at Nob, then personally executed 85 priests. His reward was promotion within Saul's court, demonstrating how betrayal of the righteous earns favor with corrupt power. The Gibeonites, Joshua 9. These Canaanites used deception, wearing worn clothes and carrying moldy provisions, to trick Israel into making a treaty. Their espionage succeeded through elaborate false identities, showing how spies exploit their targets' assumptions and goodwill. Gehazi, 2 Kings 5. Elisha's servant who secretly pursued Naaman to demand payment for healing, then lied about it. His greed led to leprosy, illustrating the spiritual cost of using sacred access for personal gain. Counter-strategy for Yashar'el. Grust, spiritual warfare response. 1. Pray against the prosperity of traitors and infiltrators. Psalm 37, 1-2. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, they shall soon be cut down. This prayer strategy involves more than passive observation. It requires active spiritual resistance to the normalization of betrayal. When we see the wicked prosper through deception, our response must be prayer that dismantles their false success and reveals their true character. 2. Ask Yahuwah to expose who is being rewarded in secret. Ecclesiastes 12:14. For Elohim shall bring every secret thing into judgment. This exposure prayer operates on multiple levels, requesting divine revelation of hidden betrayals, asking for discernment to recognize rewarded spies, and trusting that secret rewards will become public shame. 3. Pray for endurance, not envy, while wicked men prosper. Galatians 6:9. Let us not grow weary in well-doing. The endurance prayer acknowledges the psychological warfare aspect of watching betrayers succeed. It requests strength to maintain integrity when integrity appears foolish, and patience to wait for divine justice rather than human timing. Brain practical strategic response. 1. Train brothers to recognize the reward systems of the enemy: status, silence, riches, promotions. This training must be systematic and specific. Status recognition. Teach how spies often receive disproportionate recognition for minimal visible achievement. The sudden rise of previously unknown individuals, the promotion of those with questionable qualifications, or the protection of those who should face consequences all signal potential espionage rewards. Silence analysis. Train communities to notice who remains silent during controversies, who changes subjects when certain topics arise, and how consistently avoids taking stands that might cost them position or influence. Strategic silence often indicates protected status. Wealth scrutiny. Develop awareness of unexplained wealth, lifestyles inconsistent with known income, sudden acquisitions of expensive property, or patterns of spending that suggest hidden income sources. The spy's reward often appears as inexplicable prosperity. Promotion patterns. Study who gets promoted and why. Spies often receive rapid advancement, protection from consequences, and appointment to positions where they can observe or influence others. Track patterns of promotion that seem disconnected from performance or qualification. 2. Avoid idolizing those in visible leadership or wealth. Test their fruit, not their platform. This testing process requires specific criteria. Consistency over time. Authentic leaders maintain consistent character and message across decades. Spies often have gaps in their history, sudden changes in belief or behavior, or inconsistencies between their public persona and private actions. Fruit examination. Evaluate results, not rhetoric. What have they actually built? What communities have they strengthened? What truth have they defended at personal cost? Spies often have impressive platforms but barren fruit, manna followers but few disciples, great speeches but weak communities. Cost analysis. Real leadership costs something: reputation, relationships, resources. Those who never pay a price for their positions, who are universally popular, or who maintain perfect comfort while claiming to challenge power should raise suspicion. Network mapping. Study their associations. Who do they protect? Who protects them? Who profits from their influence? Spies often have hidden networks that benefit from their access and influence. 3. Keep financial systems and appointments within your assembly accountable and transparent. This accountability requires structural safeguards. Multiple signatories. No single person should control significant funds. Require multiple approvals for major expenditures, with signatories who don't benefit from the transactions. Regular audits. Conduct frequent, thorough financial reviews by people who understand the systems and have no stake in hiding problems. External audits by trusted but independent parties provide additional protection. Public reporting. Share financial information appropriately with the community. While individual giving should remain private, organizational spending, leadership compensation, and major financial decisions should be transparent to those affected. Rotation systems. Rotate financial responsibilities regularly to prevent long-term patterns of corruption. No one should handle money indefinitely, and those who do should be subject to regular review. Whistleblower protection. Create safe channels for reporting financial irregularities without fear of retaliation. Many spy systems continue because potential witnesses fear the consequences of speaking up. Advanced counterintelligence measures. Develop information compartmentalization. Not everyone needs access to all information. Create need-to-know protocols that limit the damage any single spy can inflict. Build redundant networks. Maintain multiple independent communication channels, leadership structures, and decision-making processes so that compromise of one doesn't destroy the entire operation. Practice defensive documentation. Keep records that can expose corruption, but store them securely and distribute them widely enough that destruction of one copy doesn't eliminate the evidence. Cultivate loyalty through shared risk. The strongest protection against spies is genuine community built through shared sacrifice and mutual investment. When people behave truly invested in each other's well-being, betrayal becomes personally costly. Maintain external relationships. Build connections with other communities and organizations that can provide perspective, verification, and support if your primary group becomes compromised. BRICS Summary, Strategy 14 Recap. Espionage Tactic. Spiritual Danger. Biblical Counter. Spies are closely kept, well rewarded, and protected above others. Creates envy, discouragement, or temptation to sell out. Psalm 73:3, Proverbs 17:23, Matthew 26:14-16, Ecclesiastes 12:14. The deeper victory. While this analysis focuses on recognizing and resisting spy systems, the ultimate victory comes not from perfect security, but from building something so authentic that betrayal becomes obviously destructive. When communities truly embody the values they profess, when love is genuine, when truth is spoken with grace, when resources are shared generously, when leadership is exercised through service, then the spy's work becomes transparently evil rather than temptingly profitable. The spy system ultimately fails because it builds nothing lasting. Betrayal destroys the betrayer, deception corrupts the deceiver, and those who serve false masters find themselves abandoned when their usefulness ends. Meanwhile, those who build with integrity, even when it costs them everything, create legacies that outlast their lifetime, sand foundations that support generations. This is why Scripture consistently shows that while the wicked may prosper temporarily, their prosperity is like the grass that withers, Psalm 37:2, while the righteous build lasting foundations that endure forever. The spy's reward is immediate but temporary. The faithful person's reward is delayed but eternal. Therefore, the ultimate counter-strategy is not just defensive, avoiding spies and their systems, but offensive, building communities so filled with authentic love, genuine truth-telling, and real sacrifice that betrayal becomes not just wrong but obviously foolish. When we build something worth protecting, we attract those who want to build rather than destroy, and we expose those whose hidden agendas would tear down what genuine believers have sacrificed to create.
The war we face is not always loud, but it is always real. You were not chosen to live blindfolded or bound. You were chosen to stand, to watch, and to move in wisdom. Stay anchored in the word, led by the Ruach, and never forget, Yahoo sees every scheme. He hears every whisper, and he defends those who fear him. We are not outnumbered, we are outwatched. And that's why we stand on the wall. Until next time, stay sober, stay set apart, and stay hidden in him.